Arthur Petrova, Arthur's missed Christmas fete. In Springfield, Chelmsford, where the morning air is crisp and keen, at 33 Falmouth Road, the day begins with a vocal scene. It is Tuesday, the 4th of December, 2018, and 12-year-old Aurora waits, loquacious and ever so keen. She wears pink glasses and clips in her curly dark brown hair, acting petulantly today, with a snobbish and demanding air. She watches Elena of Avalor upon the glowing screen, a loquacious princess whose royal life is quite the dream. Her brother Arthur, aged 10, is the apple of his father's eye, with green glasses and a spirit that is energetic and high. He is ecstatic and elate, for today is a day he won't forget, the afternoon of the St. Albans Catholic School Christmas fete. A Year 6 student, he stands with exemplary and tidy grace, with a look of enthusiastic joy spreading across his face. He dreams of the stalls and the games he will soon play, in the festive spirit of this very special winter day. Their father, Petar, aged 47, is a man of great stature, a future lead pastor with a calm and quite distinguished nature. He dons his blue glasses and checks the itinerary on his phone, maintaining a standard of order that is very much his own. Zdrave, he says in Bulgarian. We must not be premature, lest we find our plans are shaky and our arrival is unsure. He prepares the black BMW 3 Series estate with a steady hand, the most reliable vehicle for a journey across the land. Maria, aged 42, wears orange clothes and glasses to conceal the scarring from a childhood kettle accident, a most painful ordeal. Her long, straight black hair falls neatly down her bright orange sleeve as she helps the family prepare, for it is almost time to leave. Dobry, she whispers, ensuring the house is locked and tight, though the sky above is dismal, lacking any winter light. She is wary of the time, for the fete is scheduled to begin, and missing the opening stalls would be a most atrocious sin. Harlow, the Dalmatian, watches the family with a curious eye, while Kiev, the ginger cat, lets out a posh and cynical sigh. Siomar Athathu, Kiev meows in a Scots and snobbish tone. I infer that pandemonium is a seed that they have sown. Harlow barks in agreement, for the schedule is quite erratic. The atmosphere in the hallway is becoming quite dramatic. Kiev is the antagonist, a cat who likes to sabotage the peace, hoping that the incessant shouting will eventually cease. Come on, Arthur, move it, Aurora shouts with a petulant air. I ain't waiting all day, for real. It's proper peak, I swear. Her Essex dialect is vocal, her tone is sharp and quite loud, as she demands McDonald's, looking incredibly proud. Petar sighs at the cacophony, for he prefers a quiet life, free from the infantile bickering and the juvenile strife. We have no time for fast food, he says, with a stern, tired look, as he closes the door on the quiet morning and the storybook. As they hit the road to Harlow, the clouds begin to weep, a pathetic fallacy of the secrets that the heavens keep. The sky is a marred gray, reminiscent of a leaden sheet, reflecting the dismal monotony of the cold and wet street. Albeit the rain is heavy, we shall proceed, Petar declares, trying to ignore the hostile glances and Aurora's icy stares. Arthur looks out the window, his enthusiasm starting to falter, as the initial speed of the car begins to gradually alter. Honk! Beep! The motorway is a notorious and abysmal sight, a stationary serpent of steel that fills the family with fright. The traffic has come to a halt. They are on borrowed time. The situation is dire, a circumstance that feels like a crime. No wonder we're stuck. Maria cries, her voice full of ire, as they reach the brink of a delay that is truly quite dire. A limousine accidentally crashed further up the busy lane, exacerbating the wait and causing Arthur emotional pain. The wreck of the limo is an eyesore, a total and complete mess. The driver was incompetent. One would be forced to confess. It had collided with the barrier, a malfunction of great scale, leaving the other commuters to protest and to loudly wail. This is the antithesis of joy. Aurora screams from the back. Her patience has evaporated, and her logic is what she lacks. She begins to alienate her brother, a most hostile retaliation, creating a ton of trouble for the entire Petrova nation. To top it off and make matters worse, Aurora goes too far. She decides to demonstrate her fury inside the family car. In a moment of outrageous anarchy, she turns toward the glass and accidentally moons the passing cars with her bare posterior. Alas, Petar is livid. His fury is a fire that starts to escalate. You are banned and barred from fun. You have sealed your own fate. He is incensed by her behavior, which is appalling and obscene, the most atrocious display that the motorway has ever seen. When they finally reach Harlow, the sun has begun to fade. The light at the end of the tunnel was a promise underplayed. They arrive at St. Albans just as the fete comes to a cease, leaving Arthur crestfallen and devoid of any inner peace. He is inconsolable, like a fish out of water on the sand, as he sees the empty stalls and the quiet, vacant land. "Lack-a-day," he cries, his heart beginning to gradually rend, for the fete was a former event coming to a dismal end. Mrs. Sarenbone, the headmistress, is 28 and wise, with Indian Welsh heritage and kindness shining in her eyes. She is joined by Mrs. Howard, who is Scottish and quite raw, and Mrs. Wells from Northern Ireland, who obeys the school's law. Mrs. Howard says, "Siamar Athathu?" The delay was a wreck, while Mrs. Wells speaks in a lilt that keeps sadness in check. "Dinna fash yourself," Mrs. Howard adds with a warm Scots grin, "for even though you are late, we can let a new joy begin." "Arthur," Mrs. Wells says in her Irish lilt, so soft and low, "we have a special task for you before you have to go. Smarties the guinea pig needs a home for a short duration, an exemplary pet who requires a ton of admiration." Mrs. Bone smiles. "Croeso! It is the thought that counts, after all, even when our initial plans begin to crumble and fall." Arthur's face lights up. His sorrow begins to quickly diminish as he realizes the day has a most extraordinary finish. Arthur holds Smarties, a creature who is second to none, feeling like he has already, in some small way, won. The guinea pig is precious, a thing of beauty and of grace, bringing a look of pure, unadulterated joy to Arthur's face. Aurora looks on with envy, her own status quite inferior, while Arthur's happiness is visible on his bright exterior. She huffs and she puffs, her petulance growing like a weed, resenting the fact that her brother has the comfort he needs. "Mrs. Bone," Petar says, "it would be an honor and a pleasure to give you a lift home, a gesture we would truly treasure." The headmistress accepts, and she climbs into the BMW car, though the distance to her house is not particularly far. "Namaste," she says to the family, her voice full of peace, as the tension in the vehicle starts to gradually cease. But Aurora is cramped, and her mood is becoming more irate. Still feeling that she hasn't had a Big Mac on her plate. Once Mrs. Bone is dropped off, Aurora starts a new brawl. "I want McDonald's!" She begins to loudly and incessantly squall. She is the antithesis antithesis of a well-behaved and quiet child. Her petulant demands are making her mother quite wild. "I request a Big Mac," she screams, a request that is vetoed as the car travels down the dark and the rain-slicked road. "Your behavior was atrocious," Maria says with a frown. "You have brought the entire mood of the family right down." "No McDonald's," Pitar roars. "That is my final decree. You wasted your money on gingerbread men, as we all could see. To add insult to injury, your motorway stunt was a mistake. And now, your privileges are something I am forced to take." Instead, they stop at KFC, but only for Arthur to eat. A delicious bucket of chicken as a special and rare treat. Aurora gets nothing, a sanction that is severe and quite tough, for Petar has decided that he has finally had quite enough. They arrive back at Springfield at 33 Falmouth Road, relieving the BMW of its heavy and its festive load. Maria heads to the kitchen to ride around with some food, hoping a warm meal will improve the family's sour mood. She cooks spaghetti bolognese, the scent filling the air, a rudimentary comfort for a day filled with such despair. She hums a Bulgarian tune as the pasta begins to boil, a brief respite from the day's exhausting and frantic toil. At the dinner table, Arthur and Aurora are like chalk and cheese. One is perfectly happy, while the other is impossible to please. Arthur tells Smarties about his day in a whisper so light, while Aurora stabs her pasta with a look of pure, unbridled spite. "This day was a wreck," she mutters, "a total and utter loss." While Petar gives her a look that says he is still the boss. The atmosphere is heavy, a calm before the next storm, as the family prepares to conform to their evening norm. They finish their meal and head out to the church for the night. The silver VW Polo is a beacon of shimmering, metallic light. Maria drives this time, her sibilant engine a soft, low purr. As the events of the afternoon become a distant and hazy blur, "Slam," Mrs. Wells had said earlier, "a blessing for the day." And now the family finds peace in a quiet, spiritual way. Though the fete was missed, and the plans all went pear-shaped and wrong, in the hallowed silence of faith, they find where they belong.